Hello and welcome. I'm Shadow Doggy and you're tuning into your daily dose of Rush Royale. New week, new faction bonus, Dark Domain. You clicked on the video, so without further ado, let's get going. So, first deck I want to cover is Hex deck. And it's basically classic variation of Hex deck. You utilize Hex later in the game to gain mana and Crystal Mancer to kill mini-bosses, bosses, etc. and also to gain 50% more mana. I cannot recommend this deck if you have it like I do on Hex level 7. Potentially you need Hex level 9 plus, but you can use it to climb ladder from 4000 to 5000, but it will be a hassle. It's not a bad deck, but it can have its quirks. Variation of the Hex deck, if you don't have every unit available in the main one, could be Hex, Ivy for Boreas, Wind Archer. Why Wind Archer? Because same attack speed minus the crit. Sharpshooter for, like I said, Crystal Mancer is for bosses and mini bosses, that's why we have Sharpshooter. Catapult mostly for stun, because we have Ivy, we don't need that AoE clear. But in this deck, if you don't have Catapult, then use Bombardier for stun. If you don't know how to play the Hex deck, I have my playlist up there. I've made a few videos on Hex, so make sure you check them out. Next deck is a classical deck. A deck that is basically recommended to every beginner in the game. Can get you to 4000 or it can get you from League 1 4000 to 5000, 5.5 thousand. Or if you have level 11, 12, 13 units or maxed, it can be played on any ladder with right heroes and items. We utilize Crystal Mancer, 2 mana gain and Vampire, and rest units are support units. Frost for slow, Ivy for wave clear, Catapult for stun and to wave clear. If you don't have every unit for the deck, here is the variation of the deck. Basically, if you don't have Frost, you will put Cold Mage. If you have Cold Mage level 12, 13, 15, even better if it's filled 15, so 11, 13, 15, you can put it instead of Frost right away because it's straight up better. Next deck I want to recommend, it's Toxic deck, Shaman deck. Some people love it, some people hate it. Well, here is the variation for you. Boreas, Shaman, Harlequin, Demonologist, and surprise surprise, Bruiser. Why Bruiser and not Summoner? Well, this is how I like to play my Shaman. I like to have a little bit of wave clear and boss potential. If you don't have each and every card in the deck, you can always play this Shaman variation. Keep in mind, it's very weakened Shaman variation and it's not effective as top deck or even Summoner variation of it, but it utilizes Wind Archer for Boreas, Mime for Harlequin, so you can mime your Shamans. Shaman you have to have it, Priestess instead of Demonologist for mana gain, and we need some wave clear, so I put Ivy instead of Bruiser, but you can put Catapult or anything you want. Basically you need some AoE clear just to survive first few waves, especially if you have lower tier Boreas, Wind Archer, etc. If you want to know how to play Shaman or anything, again check my playlist, it's not a big deal. Next variation, and variation that I will personally use, and it's my favorite deck, some of you might know what it is. Cultist! Hey, Cultist deck, Cultist buff. That's great for Cultist this week, man. So we utilize Cultist for 15% mana gain, and this is why. Cultist, when it's in his plus sign, it grants additional targets, 4 additional targets, 300 additional % of DPS, so it's AoE DPS card. What do you want more? It will clear the waves, it will kill the waves, and it will grant you mana for your upgrades. If you want to know how to play main variation, just look it up below. I have many Cultist Climb videos, so you can check them out. If you don't have every card for this Cultist deck, you can play variation number 1. Basically, if you don't have Dryad, just put Chemist in and you're golden. Or in variation 2, if you don't have Dryad, you don't have to put Chemist, you can put Scrapper if you have it. Or in variation 3, if you don't have Harlequin but you have Dryad, well, you can put Chemist instead of Harlequin and play with the Dryad. Just keep in mind, all these 3 variations are kind of weaker than main variation. Scrapper is arguably good, but it's not the best. What to do if you don't have Dryad, or if you don't have Dryad Harlequin and you only have Cultist? Well, here is the tip. Don't play Cultist deck. Cultist on its own, it's very weak. It requires a lot of setup, so I don't think it would be worth it to you. So yeah, in general, we did it. Here is once again summary of all the top decks. If you want to see variations, just go back. I have timecodes down below in the description. So yeah guys, tell me what you're gonna play. Tell me what you think. Did you like the video? If you do like the video, make sure you hit that like button. And if you enjoy my content, want to see more tutorials, want to see more Royale videos, just make sure you hit that sub button. So yeah, thank you for joining. Until the next time, Pedo Doggy out.